Okay, how's everybody doing this evening? Of course, my name is Kent, and the channel is Bitcoin, Artificial Intelligence, AI. And I want to talk a little bit about, we went on last few videos, I've talked about artificial intelligence quite extensively. And we're going to talk a little bit more about it tonight. Maybe not in such a negative way tonight as I've been talking the last few nights. And actually, I have a very small channel, very few people watching, but I assure you the information I'm giving you is very timely and very cutting edge, very important. And I think you're going to find it very entertaining too. The first thing I would say about anybody today in today's world is that whatever your world is, whatever thing you do, whatever you watch, the information that you take in, take that information in along with the knowledge of artificial intelligence and just a basic idea of what artificial intelligence is and how it works. They say that ChatGPT, when it was released, went from 0 users to 100 million users in 1 month. So there's a lot of people that are just starting to figure this out, just starting to very superficially understand what artificial intelligence is. And they really, maybe it's just a toy for them. They haven't really figured it out yet. They think, yeah, it's just kind of cool. I can go on ChatGPT, I can put a prompt in, I can get back some information, but they haven't really understood how deep this thing is. And of course, if you watch the nightly news, you listen to what the governments and politicians are saying, you're never going to get a tip. You're not going to get the tip of the iceberg of what is actually happening here. And what's happening here is, you know, I'll just say it right out. It's going to change your world. It's going to change your world like you've never known before. This is bigger than the internet. This is bigger than cryptocurrency. This is bigger than the nuclear bomb. This is bigger than anything that we've ever experienced in the history of our existence, our knowledge. This is bigger than anything, and it's called artificial intelligence. And if you're not, your world isn't being filtered through artificial intelligence, you're not exposing yourself to this information, or you're not learning about this information or understanding this information, you are behind, and you're going to get further behind, because cryptocurrency was around since Bitcoin's inception, around 2008, 2009. I just heard the other day, the Congress is starting to talk about passing some legislation on cryptocurrency. So we're 2023. Bitcoin was established a couple decades ago, almost a decade and a half ago. So how quickly do you think it's going to take for them to understand AI when they're just getting around to understanding cryptocurrency? And when I heard the politicians talk about cryptocurrency, I really feel most of them are clueless. They do not understand cryptocurrencies. All they understand is what Joe Biden did the other day, which is basically say, hey, we're just going to get a bunch of the people in here and we're just going to ask them, please be nice, play nice, don't do anything wrong, everybody get along, everybody be happy, and everybody, we're going to enjoy this and we're going to be prosperous over this. This is what the government says, this is what they're dealing with, this is what they're doing. And of course, there is always, and there's a few people out there that are asking for a pause, for there to be some sort of a, let's wait and let's stop this for a second, evaluate what's happened, and maybe come back to it when we understand it better. But that's not going to happen. Pretty much unilaterally, everybody's decided to full steam ahead. And of course, there are some people way ahead of the others. You got to figure, like a guy like Elon Musk. He has been in artificial intelligence since 2015. So if ChatGPT is so transformative of what we know about it, what do you think he knows about it? He knows he's been in this space since for 7-8 years. So he's way far ahead. And you got to bet that a lot of the decisions he's making right now, they're not made by Elon Musk. They're made by artificial intelligence. He's just using that as a tool because he understands the tool. So he is way ahead of the curve and way ahead of the game. I heard a story one time, and I'm just going to illustrate this story. I heard a story one time where, and I don't know if it's true or not, you hear this stuff on the internet, and let me tell you, that I'm going to give you 3 things you're going to be aware of very soon as far as artificial intelligence. And the story was that Elon Musk had a room full of engineers working on some problem. And everybody was at a standstill. Nobody could figure it out. So he gets frustrated with everybody, grabs all their content, takes it home, works on it, brings it back, throws it on the table, says problem solved, now implement it. Now, was that Elon Musk doing that? Or was that ChatGPT and artificial intelligence that he had access to? You know, when you hear the story the first time, it sounds like, you know, Elon Musk is a genius, but when you hear the story after what you know about ChatGPT and artificial intelligence, it sounds like you just ran it through, you know, a prompt on some artificial intelligence engine, and it generated whatever the answers were, and that's what it threw on the table and told him to go implement it. But anybody sitting at that table who doesn't understand what Elon Musk had opportunity to involve in this problem won't understand what really happened when that's what really happened. So yeah, there are people out there that really got this, they've got this, they're way ahead of the curve, they know more than we know about it. It's just been released to the public a few months now, and OpenAI's ChatGPT, a few months now being released online. So we don't know what's going to happen in a year or two when now you don't have 100 million people using it, you've got 1 billion people using it. And not only do you have a billion people using it, you have ChatGPT and artificial intelligence being 100, 500, 1 million, 10 times more smart or smarter than it was in the days when there was only 100 million people using it. Now there's 1 billion people using it, and it's gathering all that information. There's a misconception. I think the misconception is this, that somehow we tell ChatGPT what to do, that we are in control of the algorithm, and we're the ones that are managing it and keeping it under, more or less on a leash. We got control of this thing. The other thought is that they have literally broken the code on how people learn and how our brains process information, and then just move that over to the computer and to the speed and the amount of information the storage a computer can hold. So our brains are very limited. Our brains work so fast, they can only hold so much information. Now you take the way our brain works and you transfer that onto a computer or a silicone chip that can move light years faster than our brain and hold light years more information than our brains hold. And that's what you got when you have artificial intelligence and ChatGPT. So this, if your world is not being filtered through this stuff, it's like I said the other night, can you afford to keep your job? Can you afford to work at your job? Can you afford to do your job? Because you don't know for a year from now if that job will exist. Because that job may not, it just may be wiped out by artificial intelligence. So before you get too secure with your future, you better start studying you better start studying this information. You better start studying what's going on. Filter everything you do, everything you think, everything you go through. And don't let your mind be distracted with things like, for instance, the local nightly news. Don't let your mind be distracted with that. Don't let your mind be distracted with things that have nothing to do with this information. Don't let your mind be distracted by, all the stuff the content out there that doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't do anything. It's just mind-numbing information that just gives you a little escape. Try to refrain from that, because you need to pull yourself together, hold all your mental faculties together, and filter everything you're doing through artificial intelligence. And I'm going to give you a couple things that you're going to see here in the background as your life goes on. That's going to it's going to be like a little understanding that this is coming. And one of the things that's going to happen very soon is, it's already happening. When you put something into Google, it already generates an artificial intelligence response. But in the future, very near future, you're going to see that it's going to become more and more predictive of what you were thinking. So in other words, you may be thinking of a word, you go to Google, type in meaning of, and before you type the word, it already shows up on the screen. It already shows up in the URL, or it already shows up, in the search. Hey, that's what you were thinking of. And the reason maybe is because it already knows the pattern of what you were doing before you thought of that word. So it's already predicting everything you're doing. So the internet's going to become very predictive. Everything is going to become very more, you're going to sit there and wonder, how in the world did it know that I was thinking about buying a backpack? How does it know that, I was thinking about going on a camping trip? How did it know that I was, I was thinking about, taking a trip? How does it know all this stuff? Because of artificial intelligence. And you're going to see that now. You're going to see it happen almost instantaneously. You're going to see things like that happen. All of a sudden, weird things in your life are just going to start happening. The predictiveness of websites showing up, on your computer, the predictiveness of coming up with things before you think about them, they just show up on your computer, just because, maybe something you said on your phone, something that you did, something like that. It's all being generated, it's all being content, it's all being brought in to ChatGPT and artificial intelligence, and it's going to predict pretty much things you're going to do online almost before you do it, before you think about it. It's already going to know what you're thinking of. The second thing you're going to see is you're going to see incredible things happen in the area of art and music. Unbelievable images that you never thought could be so incredibly captivating and so incredible detail and capture a scene so well. You're going to see that. You're going to see it really quick. The other thing you're going to see is incredible music. The music is going to come you're going to hear music that you've never heard before. Music that is just so well done. Like, sometimes you listen to the master, I'm not a big musician, but you listen to people that have, the Mozarts, the people that really create beautiful music, and you wonder, how can a mind be so creative? Well, you're going to see that all the time now. Now that we have artificial intelligence, that's going to be stuff that just gets created automatically within seconds, instead of people taking a lifetime. And like art, the ability to do a painting or anything like that, that's going to be stuff that's going to be done effortlessly with ChatGPT and artificial intelligence. The other thing you're going to see is you're going to see incredible products being released. Products that do things that we never would have dreamt a product could do. I grew up, in the 1960s, prior to cell phones, prior to the internet, prior actually to cable TV. I mean, we were on a farm in western Nebraska, and we had little rabbit ears to get our TV reception. I remember the days of satellite TV. It was a huge deal. I grew up before all that. I think in the very near future, you're going to see incredible products come about that do incredible things that we never thought were possible. Like, all of a sudden, you're going to have a product that you won't have a key anymore, where you have to walk up to a lock and put the key. I mean, I know that's already there, but all the things that we do that are disruptive, all the things that we do that cause us friction, they're all going to be eliminated. We're going to have incredible products that we never dreamed of before, just going to be invented overnight through AI. The other thing, services are going to become so much better. You're going to order from Amazon, and the product's going to be on your front door. Within a few, now you wait a day to get it, 2 days maybe. In the future, you're going to get it maybe in a few hours, even a few minutes. It's going to be there. It's going to be there almost automatically. And when you want something or ask for something, it's just going to happen instantaneously. It's not going to take any time. It's just going to be there. It's going to just develop overnight. Things are going to happen so fast. We're going to be going at light speed with everything because of artificial intelligence. And every little thing that irritated us, all the little things that we go through life, and we just were irritated with traffic, all the things we don't like, pollution, all these things, energy crisis, all this stuff is going to just get solved overnight. And we're going to be really impressed. How in the world does this happen so quickly? Why? How did technology advance so quickly? And it's coming through artificial intelligence, and there's going to be some amazing things happen. And that's the good part of artificial intelligence. You will see incredible products, incredible services, incredible music, incredible art. Be able to predict what you think before you think it, and be able to put it out on a screen and allow you to access information and have stuff that you've never had before. This is all coming really, really fast. And when you see this stuff going on in your background, and you think, what is going on here? How do things happen so fast? Why are things going so? It'll be because of artificial intelligence. And if you're aware of this information and know what's happening, you'll be able to follow it and predict it, or kind of at least know it's going to happen. I'm telling you right now it's going to happen. But you yourself will start thinking about this, and you will start your world will start to be, you look at the world differently than you did before. Just like I look at the world differently than I did when I was a teenager or a young man. Because when I was a young man and a teenager, you didn't have access to information. It's interesting to me. A quick little story before I end this video. I used to own I used to own a Dodge Charger in the muscle days of cars, when the car was really, quite a unique car. But you didn't know any information about it. I didn't know what the horsepower rating was. I didn't know how many were built. I didn't know what colors were more common than other colors and everything like that. It's interesting for me to go back and watch those videos on those I owned a GTX. I had a 446 pack in it. It was a super cool car. It was one of 208 ever built. I don't have it anymore. I wish I did. But it's fun for me to go back and all that information, all that stuff that I remember as a kid, that was really interesting to me, that the questions I had at the time that I couldn't access, because at that time you had to go to a magazine, you had to go to a book, just wasn't that information available. Now I can literally find out every little piece of that car that I loved so much back in the day when I was a kid, 20, 21 years old. All the things I really loved and enjoyed about that car, now I can find out more detail, more information. I have access to so much, and it's incredible for me to know, like I say, I had a car that was one of 208 ever built. I didn't know that at the time I owned a car. I just knew it was a rare car. When I drove around, I didn't see too many other 446 pack GTXs. I had one other friend who had one. He had a 4-speed, I had an automatic. So that was the only car I'd ever seen that had that kind of engine in it. But I knew it was a unique, rare engine, but I just didn't realize how unique. I didn't know the numbers. I had never looked them up, and of course I didn't want to study it because that took effort. So that's the other thing. You're going to learn quicker. People are going to become smarter. And we are going to get rid of this educational system that came out of the industrial age, where we had the assembly line, where everybody went and worked at the factory. Cities like Detroit are dying, all the Rust Belt and all that's all going away, because that was for a different generation, a different time, and a different technology. All that is going away. It's toast. It's finished. You won't have a job, a job. You will have something else you do. You will have something you do with artificial intelligence, which will release your creativity. And that's, like I say, one of the things I think that the artificial intelligence is really going to help. Those people that are limited in their ability to do things because of the tools that they possess, or the tools that they've learned, or the tools they knew. For me, right now I feel so incredibly liberated because I don't have to learn code. I've always been a little bit, feeling inferior because, God, I want to build something, but I don't really want to sit down and figure out how to do it because I'm not a coder. So, now I don't have to do that. I can just go to ChatGPT and generate the code, and there it is. So, there's just so many cool things that, it's like being a musician and not knowing how to read music or play music. You won't need that with ChatGPT. You won't need that with artificial intelligence. All this stuff will happen for you automatically. So we're living in a new world, and you need to adjust your thinking and all your everything that comes into your 5 senses. It needs to be readjusted to what's happening with the artificial intelligence. And please take all the noise, all the things that just distract us, and just let go of them. They're not important anymore. They don't exist. Forget about the politics and the election and everything. That's another thing. We got an election coming up in this country in 2014. How in the world, with artificial intelligence, where you can literally mimic someone's voice and mimic them in an image, you could create a video of one of the politicians doing things that are very disruptive, or doing things, saying things that they would have never said, and you can put that out over social media. Maybe that's why Elon Musk bought Twitter, because he wants to control social media, and he also wants to control a lot of that content. Why did Elon Musk buy Twitter? It wasn't because he wanted a big headache with Twitter. He bought Twitter because there's incredible amounts of content out there, interactive between human beings, that he can pump into his AI generators and come up with incredible data that he has. I mean, he bought all that content for one reason and one reason only, because that's feeding his artificial intelligence generators, his machines. The other thing too is, every time we go online and they're asking us if we're a robot or not, and we have to take a little test by deciding if there's a lamppost or a motorcycle or a bridge or something like that. We're not doing that so it determines or not if we're a robot. We're training the artificial intelligence systems, and that's what that's all about. The little where you never can figure it out. Where's the white line, or is it how many boxes does the white line show up in, or how many boxes does the lamp post show up in, or where's the railroad track? How many boxes to the railroad track? That's not for our safety. That's for AI to learn, and that's what it's doing right now. So Another video tomorrow, hopefully. I appreciate you watching. Thank you.